Hello and welcome to the next edition of the Hewlett-Packard Enterprise Voice of the Customer podcast series. I'm Dana Gardner, Principal Analyst at Inter Arbor Solutions, your host and moderator for this ongoing discussion on digital transformation. Stay with us now to learn how agile businesses are fending off disruption in favor of innovation. Our next case study highlights how a Swiss engineering firm created an appliance that quickly deploys to index and deliver comprehensive business information. That assimilation across thousands of formats and hundreds of languages then provides, via a simple search interface, unprecedented access to trends, leads, and the makings of highly informed business decisions. We'll now explore how SEC 1.01 AG delivers a true intelligence services solution, one that returns new information to ongoing queries and combines internal and external information on all sorts of sources to produce a 360-degree view of end users' areas of intense interest. So, join us as we learn how finding and using the best available information can be done in about half the usual time. We're here with a guest. It's David Meyer. He's Chief Technology Officer at SEC 1.01 AG in Switzerland. Welcome, David.
Welcome to anybody.
Yeah, glad to have you with us. So tell us, what are some of the trends that are driving the need for what you've developed called the i5 appliance?
The most important thing is that we can provide instant access to company-relevant information. And this is one of today's hugest challenges we address with our i5 appliance. Decisions are only as good as the information basis they are made on. i5 provides the ability to access a more complete information basis to make substantiated decisions. And additionally, you don't want to search all the time. You want to get proactively informed, and that we do with our agents that are automated programs that are searching for new information that comes up that you are interested in.
Mm-hmm. And your heritage as an organization, you've been around for quite a while, involved large applications, packaged applications back in the day. SAP, for example, R3, but over time, more and more data sources and ability to gather information came on board, and you saw the need in the market for this appliance. Tell us a little bit about what led you to create it.
We started to dive into big data at the time when HPE acquired Autonomy. That was in December 2011. And we saw that it's very hard for companies to start to become a data-driven organization. And with the i5 appliance, we would like to help companies to accelerate their journey to really become such a company.
Mm-hmm. Tell us what you mean by a 360-degree view. What does that really mean in terms of getting the right information to the right people at the right time?
Yes, so in your informational scope or in a company's informational scope, you don't just talk about internal information. You also have external information like news feeds, social media feeds, or even governmental or legal information you need to have. And you don't have the time to search every day for that, So you need to have an search appliance that can proactively inform you about things that happen outside. For example, if there is a legal issue with your customer, or if you are in a contract discussion and your partner loses his signature authority to sign that contract, how would you get this information if you don't have support from your search engine?
Mm-hmm. And search has become such a popular paradigm for acquiring information, asking a question and getting great results. Those results, of course, are only as good as the data and content they can access. Tell us a little bit about your company, SEC 1 Your size, your scope, where you market. Tell us just a little bit of background about your company.
Yeah, so historically we are an HP partner since 26 years and built business critical platforms based on HP hardware and also HP operating system, what was or is HP UX. And since the merger of Autonomy and HP in 2011, we started to build a solution based on big data software of HPE, particularly that's IDLE and Vertica.
Mm-hmm. What was it about the environment that prevented people from doing this on their own? Why wouldn't you go and just do this yourself in your own IT shop?
This HPE IDLE software ecosystem, it's really an ecosystem of different softwares, and these parts need to be packed together to something that can be installed very fast and that can provide very quick results, okay? And that's what we did with the i5 appliance. So we put all these good software from HP IDLE together into one simple appliance, simple to install, and we wanna really accelerate the time that is needed to start with big data, to get really results from it, and to get started with the analytical part of using your data and gain money out of it.
And as we mentioned earlier, getting the best access to the best data is essential. There's a lot of APIs and a lot of tools that come with the IDLE ecosystem, as you described it. But you're able to dive into 1,000 or more file formats, support 150 languages, 400 data sources. That's very impressive. Tell us how that came about.
Yeah, I think when you start to work with unstructured data, you need some functionalities that is very important. For example, you need to have support for a lot of languages, okay? Imagine all these social media feeds in different languages, how you want to track that if you don't have a support for example, sentiment analysis on these messages. And on the other hand, you also need to understand any format, any unstructured format. So, for example, if you have video broadcasts or radio broadcasts, if you want to search for the content inside these broadcasts, you need to have a tool to translate the speech to text. Okay, so and HP IDLE brings all these functionality that is needed to work with unstructured data with their products, and we pack that together in our i5 appliance.
Mm-hmm. And that includes digging into PDFs and using OCR. It's quite impressive at how deep and comprehensive you can be in terms of all the types of content within your organization. So tell me a bit now how you physically do this. If it's an appliance, you're installing it on premises. You're able to, of course, access data sources from outside your organization if you choose to do that. But how do you actually implement this that can then get at those data sources internally? How would an IT person think about deploying this?
Yeah, so we have prepared installable packages, and mainly you need to have connectors to connect to repositories, to data pods. Okay, for example, if you have an Exchange server, you have a connector that understands very good how the Exchange server can communicate to that connector, and so you have the ability to connect to that data source and get any content, including also the metadata. If you talk about metadata, it's for an email, that's, for example, the from, the to, the subject, whatever, okay? And so you have the ability to put all that content and this metadata into a centralized index. And then you're able to search that information, to refine the information, and then you have a reference to the original document. and that what's it mainly that you need to, or where you start when you implement that appliance on premise inside. When you want to enrich the information that you have in your company with external information, we developed a so-called SEC web connector that is able to practically know or can capture any information from the internet. So you just need to enter, for example, an RSS feed or a web page, and then it can capture the content, the metadata you want it to search for or that is important for your company.
So it's actually quite easy to tailor this specifically to an industry focus, if you wish, to a geographic focus. It's quite easy to develop an index that's specific to your organization, your needs, your people.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, because in our crowded informational system that we have with the internet and everything, I think it's an important thing that companies can choose where they want to have the information that is important for them from. Okay, so do I need legal information? Do I need news information? Do I need social media information? Do I need broadcasting information? So it's very important to build your own informational scope, that you want to be informed about news, that you want to be able to search for.
And because of the way you structured and engineered this appliance, you're not only able to proactively go out and request things, but you can, in a sense, have a programmatic benefit where you can tell it to deliver to you results when they arise or when they're discovered. Tell us a little bit how that works.
Yeah, exactly. We call them agents. So agents are you can define what topics you're interested in, and when some new documents appear that would be found by that search or by that topic, then you get informed, for example, with an email or with a push notification on the mobile app.
Cool. Let's dig into a little bit of this concept of an appliance. You're using IDLE, you're using Vertica, the column-based store high-performance analytics engine, also part of HPE, but soon to be part of Micro Focus. You're also using 3PAR StoreServe and ProLiant DL380 servers. Tell us a little bit about how that integration happened and why you actually call this an appliance rather than some other name.
Yes, so the appliance means in that case that all the software is packaged together. Every component can talk to each other, talks the same language, can be configured the same way. We pre-configured a lot, we standardized a lot, and that's the appliance thing about that. And it's not bound on hardware. So, okay, it doesn't need to be this DL380 or whatever, okay? So it also depends on how huge your environment will be. So it can also be a C7000 blade chassis or whatever. When we install an appliance, we have 1 or 2 days until it's installed, and then it starts the initial indexing program. And this takes a while until you have all the data in the index. Okay, so the initial load is a little bit huge, but I think after 2 or 3 days you are able to already search for information. And you mentioned the Vertica part, so we use Vertica to log the every action that goes on the appliance. So this is for example, or on one hand, this is a security feature. Okay, you need to know if someone really can, or you need to prove if nobody has found the salary list, for example. Okay, you need to prove that, and so you need to log it. On the other hand, you can analyze what users are doing. So, for example, if they don't find something, and it's always the same thing, that people are searching in the company and they don't find something about that topic, perhaps there's a lack of information you need to implement into the appliance.
Right. And you mentioned security and privileges. how does the ability for an IT organization to allow the right information access to the right people happen? Are you going to use some other policy engine, tap into that? How does that work?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So it's included. It's basically included. So it's called mapped security. So you take or the connectors takes the security information with the document and index that security information within the index. So you will never be able to find a document that you don't have access to it also in your environment. And I think that's a very important part, that this security is given by default.
Mm-hmm. Now, it sounds to me, David, like we're, in a sense, democratizing big data. Maybe that's a misused or overused term, but by gathering and indexing all the unstructured data that you can possibly want to and point at, connect to, you're allowing anybody in a company to get access to queries without having to go through a data scientist or a SQL query author. It seems to me that you're really opening up the power of data analysis to many more people on their terms, which is basic search queries. What does that get for an organization? Do you have any examples of the ways that people are benefiting by this democratization, this larger pool of people able to use these very powerful tools?
Yeah, well, I think the IT is shifting to some kind of everything is more data driven, So the i5 appliance can give you access to all of that information. And when you have access, it's an explorative way to how to handle that data and what can I gain from it, okay? And the i5 appliance especially is here to simplify the start to get to a data-driven organization and to find out what power is in my data, okay, of my organization. And if you want to have an example, so we enabled a company in Switzerland called Smart Info to become a proactive news provider. So that means they put lots of public information, means newspapers, online newspapers, TV broadcasts, radio broadcasts, into that index, and the customers can then define their topics they're interested in, and they are proactively informed about new articles about their interests.
Mm-hmm. And what other ways do you think this will become popular? I'm guessing that the marketing organization would really benefit, finding relationships within their internal organization between product and service, go-to-market, research and development, parts of a large distributed organization that don't always know what the other part is doing, the unknown unknowns, if you will. Any other examples of how this is a business benefit?
Yeah, of course. So you mentioned the marketing organization. So how could a marketing organization listen what customers are telling? Okay, for example, on social media, they are communicating there. And when you have an engine like i5, you can capture these social media feeds. You can do sentiment analysis on that, and you will see an analyzed view on what's going on about my products or my company or my competitors. And so you can detect, for example, a shitstorm about your company or a shitstorm about your competitor or whatever. And you need to have an analytic platform to see that, to visualize that. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a huge benefit that you can have. On the other hand, it's also this proactive information you get from it. Okay, where you can see, okay, my competitor has a new campaign, and I get that information right now because I have an agent with my customer's name, and I see that there's something happening, and I can act on that information.
Great. Now, when you think about future capabilities, are there other aspects that you can add on? It seems extensible to me. What would be talking about in a year from now, for example?
Yeah, it's pretty much extensible. I think also about all these different verticals, you can expand it for the health sector, for transportation sector, whatever. Okay, so it doesn't really matter. But what we are focusing on is we do network analysis. That means when you prepare yourself, for example, to visit a company, you can have a network picture. What relationships does this company has? So means what employees work there, who is a shareholder of that company, which company has contracts with any of other companies, and I think this is a very new way of how you get a holistic image of a company or of a person or of something you want to know. Okay, it's always the thing how to visualize things, how to visualize information, and that's the main part we are focusing on. How can we visualize or bring new visualizations to the customer?
Yeah. And in the marketplace, because it is an ecosystem, we're seeing new APIs coming online all the time. Many of them are very low cost, and in many cases open source or free. We're also seeing the ability to connect more adequately to LinkedIn and Salesforce, if you have your license for that, of course. So it really seems to me a focal point, a single pane of glass to get one view of a customer, one view of a market, one view of a competitor, at the same time at an affordable price. So let's focus on that for a moment. When you have an appliance approach, software combined, hardware that could be crawl, walk, run, starting with a blade but easily going up in scale if you need it. What we're talking about used to be only possible at very high cost, and many people would need to be involved. Labor, resources, customization. Now, we've eliminated a lot of the labor, a lot of the customization, and the component costs have come down. So we've talked about all the great qualitative benefits, but can we talk about it in terms of productivity? What's the cost differential between what used to be possible 5 years ago with data analysis, unstructured data gathering and indexing, and what you can do now with the i5?
You mentioned the price, right? So we have an OEM contract that's something that gives that makes us competitive in the market to also that companies can build their own intelligence service. So that's how I call that one. And it's affordable also for small and medium businesses. So it doesn't need to be a huge company with own engineering and own IT staff. It's affordable, it's automated, it's packed together and simple to install. Okay, and the benefits for that companies are really that they can increase the workplace performance. Okay, that they can shorten the processes, that anybody has access to all the information they need in their process, in their daily work, and so they can more focus on their core business and don't lose time in searching for information and don't finding it and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. For those folks that have been listening or reading and are intrigued by this, want to learn more, where would you point them? How can you get more information on the i5 appliance and some of the concepts we've been discussing?
That's our company website. So it's sec101.ch because we are located in Switzerland, and there you can find any information you would like to have.
And this is available now?
This is available now, yeah, for sure.
Well, great. I'm afraid we'll have to leave it there. We've been exploring how SEC 1.01 AG delivers a true intelligence services solution, one that returns new information to ongoing queries and combines internal and external information on all sorts of sources to produce a 360-degree view of any user's interests that they choose. So we've learned how HPE's platform and data solutions have also been uniquely combined by SEC 1.01 for an appliance approach that quickly deploys to index and deliver these comprehensive business information results. So please join me in thanking our guest. We've been here with David Meyer, Chief Technology Officer at SEC 1.01 AG in Switzerland. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you, Dana.
And thanks to our audience as well for joining us for this Hewlett-Packard Enterprise Voice of the Customer Digital Transformation discussion. I'm Dana Gardner, Principal Analyst at Inter Arbor Solutions, your host for this ongoing series of HPE-sponsored interviews. Thanks again for listening, and please come back next time.